Can I have a word? Are the Beatles going to go their own ways in 1967?
They could be, you know, on our own or together. We're always involved with each other, whatever we're doing.
Could you ever see a time when, in fact, you weren't working together?
I could see us working not together for a period, but we'd always get together for one reason or other.
What's this? The songwriting team thing will keep going on, whatever happens, will it?
Yeah, we'll probably carry on writing music forever.
look at me, my love. Here I am. Oh, my love. Nobody knows but me. Nobody knows but me. Who am I? Nobody else can see. Just you and me. Who are we? Oh, my love. Oh, my love.
Nice to see you, Larry.
Lovely. What is Apple, John?
It's a company we're setting up which involves records, films, electronics, which make records and films work, and what's it called, manufacturing?
Yeah, it does a few things.
What do you plan?
You'll see how
Somebody
it
wants to
works.
make a film, and they go to a company and they get shown into the waste paper bin, and nothing ever happens. So they go round, they make an underground one, and it goes round and round underground, and a lot of people never see it.
I see.
So if they come to us, they won't stand a chance. But we hope to make a thing that's free, where people can just come and do and record and not have to ask, could we have another microphone in the studio, because we haven't had a hit yet.
I see. Paul, about a year and a half ago, there were quotes on the wire about your discussion of LSD and some other things, narcotics.
Yes, Larry.
It seemed to me, from what I read, that you had endorsed it and condemned it.
We were manufacturing it at
What's
the
the
time.
story?
No,
The business went bump.
What's the story?
somebody asked me. Some newspaper man came up and he said, have you had LSD? So I thought, well, I'll either be cagey here or I'll be honest. So I said yes.
And it was his responsibility for reporting it. So they had him on TV saying, why did you say this? Why did you say
Almost
this?
like that situation.
Yeah, but they
with
kept
the-
asking him, did you take it? So he says, yeah. But on TV he says, well, you don't print this bit of film, man. I mean, I don't want to tell anybody about
Almost
it.
like the situation with the
Right.
Christ statement.
Yeah, right. But see, they just asked me a question. I gave them an answer. And then it was blown up.
You know, here in the United States, we've had a lot of riots on campuses in the
You
last...
betcha, Larry.
Do you read much about these things?
Yeah, it's on the news all
You know,
the
these
time.
same
We've got
people
TV back home now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to make people happy.
Not really, you know, just trying to help, you know, they don't have to be happy. You know, just trying to help people.
I'm very slow.
You get the picture, Larry, come on, own up.
Own up, Larry.
The bubble hasn't burst,
Mm.
and it doesn't seem like it's going to burst.
It just flew off.
But do you ever envision a time of just ceasing being the Beatles and going off on your own, or even working together?
Just
We
never think-
are
we
the
do work
Beatles.
on our own anyway now.
You never can be anything else
We
but
are
the
the
Beatles.
Beatles, you know, that's what we are.
We're also Apple as well, see.
Yeah,
They're
but
like
I mean-
Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Brown.
You've
But
heard
they're
that.
both meant to be nice, you see.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Beatles, John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Who, is he the spokesman, would you say, John?
Well, if his spokes are working, he is, and if mine are.
When you talk about, like, Lennon McCartney, the songs that I see, do you work together, or is it one writes one, or...
It's all those combinations you can think of. Every combination of two people writing a song, in as much that we can both write them completely separately, and together, and not together. But we obviously influence you so well.
Listen, do you, the four of you, socially, are you that close, or when
Yeah, we're good friends, you know.
Sometimes when you work together, I've been with groups that when the job is over, that's it. You have houses pretty much together?
Within 20 miles altogether, yeah.
And socially, it's...
Well, yeah.
If you couldn't have...
One of the big controversies in your country has been recently the whole question of racial integration and of cutting off immigration and of asking some of your non-whites to go back home again.
Yeah.
You know,
he said what a lot of them thought.
Votes, you know, and
a lot of people in Liverpool and other places you know well favour what he said, apparently.
Sure, because those people are all over the place.
But you know those people.
That's why the governments are in power, because most people...
They don't know a thing, you know.
Because they're not told anything as well. You know,
it's people and they see, well, you know, I'm white and he's black. Hate, you know,
and
they
he's
just
not
hate him.
brought up any other way.
You know, they don't know anything else than that. So they've got to agree with this fella who gets him and says, we've got a dangerous situation here.
And they vote him in, and he makes them feel all right, and he tells them that you're right. You know what's happening, you put me in power. But what they don't know is that he knows a bit more of what's going on, that's why he's in power.
Do you think the press distorts a great deal of what you say?
I don't think there's anywhere any truth coming over about what's happening at all. And I think
in general, just all the way across the board.
En masse, you know.
It's not far off, you know.
There is no truth coming out at all. The only true thing about newspapers are the names of the newspaper.
People don't like the long hair and the
well, we know those people are sick, you know, and we might all be sick, but their manifestations of sickness are pretty, you know, horrible, really, frightening.
There was something in England where there's a kid went to the barber's and that's his uncle said, go and get your hair cut, and so he went, he just had a little bit off, you know, because he had it quite long and he liked it. And he came back with just a bit off, and so his uncle, his guardian, you know, got annoyed and dragged him back and had it all off, you know. The kid just come with a little crew cut, you know, and he's really broken up about it. And the next morning they found him on the railway lines. You know, the kid had just sort of laid down with his crew cut and... You know, I mean, there's no need for that.
To make haircuts that important is insanity, you know. All issues are relative, so it relates like that. It's all just relative to each other. War and vegetables, it's all just relative, you know. So there's relativity and absolute. So that's how it relates.
It's great, Johnny.
It's kind of hard, though, for some people to interpret you.
Well, I mean, if they can't interpret it, maybe they will later.
What can I do for you? What can I do for you? Here I am. Oh, my love. Oh, my love.
We went to a Klaus Oldenburg opening, and we were all, I went with Paul, and I don't know who she was with, but I got separated from Paul, and I felt this sort of vibe behind me, and I looked round, and there she was, you know.
it's very hard making any sense because you've got to superimpose and then...
He said, no, you won't like that. I said, well, what is it, He said, oh, no, you won't like it. It's high class, that. It's very high class, highbrow. And that kind of way, I always used to think of it. I used to think, well, that's very clever, all that stuff. And it isn't, it's just exactly what's going on in pop at the moment. Pop music is the classical music of now. At a sort of peak of hysteria, instead of just thinking, that's nice, we could have just thought, click, let's use this and for evil, But there's no desire in any of our heads to sort of take over the world, That was Hitler, that's what he wanted to do. There is, however, a desire to get power in order to use it for good.
Studio. But I'm very, very happy now, and I'm just sort of scared. If I can get over this scary feeling, then everything's going to be all right. The reason why I'm so scared is because it seems almost unbelievable. I can't believe it. That's what it is. I just can't believe it. And yet, I can't go back. There's no way of turning back. I wish John was in me right now, inside.
Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you what, we don't need to play it. Anybody can play it. You don't feel like playing it. Okay. Can you get hold of the organ?
See, I was just thinking about it. It's so important you come inside me instead of coming in my hand or something. You see, and then you said that there's no difference. But if you understand the difference of that, that's when you would really start to understand what it means to love somebody else. At some time of your life, you had a situation where you became scared of a straight relationship, of giving to each other, and instead of giving to women, you'd rather spit on the sky or shoot it to the sky, kind of thing. Now, after playing for half an hour or something, you look all excited, and your skin is all red and sweaty, like you had a glass of beer or something like that, which I know you didn't. After the initial embarrassment, that now Paul is being very nice to me. He's nice and a very on the level, straight sense. Like whenever there's something like happening happening in the Apple, he explains to me as if I should know. New deals and things like that. And also, whenever there's something like they need a light man or something like that, he asks me if I know of anybody good, things like that. And like, I can see that he's just now suddenly changing his attitude, like he's being he's treating me with respect, not because it's me, but because I belong to John. I hope that's what it is, because that would be awesome. And I feel like he's my younger brother or something like that. I'm sure that if he had been a woman or something, he would have me a great threat, because there's something definitely very strong between John and Paul. And
Ringo, you're just a bit out with him. Okay. Yeah, Paul. Do come in, man.
And probably among those three people, like George and Ringo, Paul
If you knew what we'd been through while you've been gone, I can tell you.
Sort of feel the vibration, sort of sense it, that something is going on there. Because Ringo and George, I just can't communicate. I mean, I'm sure that George and I'm really sure that both are very nice people, but that's not the point.
Chris playing Lowry organ while I was playing piano. Having a ball.
Tell me the answer. Maybe love will put you in a dancer. Look out, helter skelter.
And so she was suddenly in the band. She didn't start singing or playing, but she was, you know, she was there just as Neil and Mal were there, or George Martin was there.
One of the things I'd done for years, you know, was keep everybody out of the studio, you know, because it's not a playground, you know, it's a working environment.
Well, the fact that it was no longer the happy-go-lucky fivesome with me that it used to be. There was another person in the studio, so it was uncomfortable.
It wasn't just that Yoko, you know, or opposed to the idea of having a stranger sitting there. There was a definite vibe. That's what bothered me. It was like a weird vibe. She didn't really like the Beatles because she saw the Beatles as something that was between her and John.
I like most kinds of music, so that I haven't got a bag, as they say, except the big black one in the hall outside. It's Obla D, Obla Da, and USSR, and Martha, and that, like a 3 different songs altogether. In fact, all of mine are on the LP. I had this song called Helter Skelter, which is just a ridiculous song. So we did it like that because I like noise, but I can't really say anything about that. I'm pretty diverse. I mean, because on one hand you'll get something like I Will, and then you'll get Why Don't We Do It in the Road, you know. Just completely different things, completely different feelings, but it's me singing both of them. It's the same fella, and I wrote both of them, you know. So that you can't explain it.
Recorded that all by himself in the other room. He came in and he made the whole record. Him drumming, him playing the piano, him singing. No, just because it was getting to be where he wanted to do it like that, but he couldn't maybe he couldn't make the break from the Beatles. I don't know what it was. But
there are, you know, there's people everywhere of the same mind, and it's just, even amongst ourselves we can't communicate, which is the hard bit, you know, amongst the people that sort of really agree.
Just because of words?
Just because of words and your upbringing and the attitude and how you express your... Well, it's just something, you've got to find a mutual sort of language to express yourself, you know. And my language is the... Unless you are.
No, it isn't. I mean, I wasn't in love last year, but I was communicating quite well with people. Not as well as, or maybe not as powerfully, because now there's two of us doing that, whatever it is, setting out the vibration or whatever. But before that, it was me or me and George, or like that, whatever it was. We weren't in love, but.
And so my concept was there maybe subconsciously, you know, that I'm just really a half a person without meeting John or something. But, you know, that bit.
She's got to be.
I'm lonely. And that's the reason why. I'm lonely. Oh, John.
Mick and I have been performing together for years now.
Well, it's so nice to have you back, and I think we're going to sing you a little song, which it's really
I'm
nice.
Lonely, wanna die.
Everybody had a soft dream. Everybody saw the sunshine. Everybody's had a hard year. Surprise, surprise. Everybody had a hard year. Everybody had a good time. Everybody saw the sad dream. Everybody saw the sunshine. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
can't hear you.
No.
I think it's an awful lot.
Okay.
Well, have you got anything?
Okay, you got. Come on.
To
Come on with
supplant
something
it.
better then.
Well, I just think that for a start, it'd be better to sing instead of.
Let's just sing, you know, the corny one.
Yeah, do
just
the
to
corny
get this
one.
bit, you know, and then we can because you see that's it. That's what, you know, we make it better as it
Yeah,
goes
I
on.
mean,
But if we don't, if it doesn't go on, you know, we've just gone round for an hour with nothing in our heads, and we're back, you know. So let's. Yeah, no, but let's sort of move on now. It's terrible seeing yourself nearly go round a path. You've been down too many times. You don't want to go down. You know, like us going on about this. I really don't want to go down that path. It's just silly. But I just can't think of any solution. The problem is that we should all arrange our own tunes, and if you want like improvisation, then we should all say, you know, right, it's the best way. We improvise here. But it puts a lot more work on each one of us then, because then we've got to work out my bass line.
I'd say improvise it, man.
If this comes off, we've got a great chaps. We've got a great entertainment package. We've got an album, a documentary never seen before, and a performance. It's a great package.
Yeah, you know, I mean, a lot will come out of it if we could get the enthusiasm.
See, I think, the truest thing is
terrible. Just, I mean, imagine
if we get it together.
And I'm not these
guys are fixing up the gear.
I know you're interested. You won't say anything about it.
I said what I'm thinking.
So you're still thinking that now? Are you thinking that?
I'm still thinking about it.
We should have a divorce. Well, I said that at the last meeting. But it's getting nearer, you know. Who'd have the children? Dick James.
Sure, I think I, MLH, can do a show with you better than anybody in the world, because I think I'm the best rock and roll director in the world, he says without any false humility. But equally, at the moment, we haven't got a show, and so none of us really want to do it.
Really, I don't want to do any of my songs on the show. No. They just turn out shitty. Like,
No, well, this is where I think, though. This is where I think
they come out like a compromise, whereas in a studio they can work on them till you want it, get it how you want it.
Last year, you were telling me that you can do anything you want, Paul, anything you desire, you can do, you know.
Yeah.
Now, but these days,
But you have
you're
to
saying,
desire it.
But you're saying before the show is finished and before we've done it, now, like the arrow, letting forth on this word of we're not going to be able to do it, you know, they're going to come out of compromise. Now, I don't think that. I really don't. I think we've got it, you know. I really think we're very good, you know. And we can get it together. If we think that we want to do these songs great, we can just do it great, you know. But I think thinking it's not going to come out great won't help. You know, that is like meditation, where you get into a bummer and you come out of it and don't go through it, you know. And I think we can help if we, you know, on anything like that. Okay, you're sick of playing the drums. Well, we've all got to say, look, we're sick too, you know, pat, look, you know, it's all the same, and, you know, go through it. It's no use just saying, well, fuck off.
But you see, I think one of the things about doing that's wrong about doing the show here is
How we do that? Quick, very quick. Is that the end of it? Yeah. Only that long. We use it for a commercial. So, yeah, it's fine. And what do we do about that?
Well, it's
sounds
just,
hard to do.
You see, no, it's... Oh.
I mean, for you.
No?
I'm in mine. I'll sing it.
Two of us riding nowhere. Okay.
What am I singing on this?
I don't know really. Melody. Two of us. You have to remember the words too.
Yes, I've got them here.
But learn them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Two of us sailing postcard.
Well, and you're not getting on as well as you did.
It's not as easy. In other words, what do you feel about that?
No, I think it's...
Well, it might make it better again,
yeah.
Whatever the wound is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Could you just stop playing for a minute, John?
Yes, all
while
right,
I'm trying
Paul.
to talk to you about this arrangement. Thank you. Should we go for lunch?
Is it lunch already?
Yes.
I think I'll be leaving the band now.
When?
Now.
The trouble is, once you leave, it's very hard to come back. John and Paul aren't writing together much anymore, are they, really?
No, but nevertheless, there's still a team.
Glenn. Yoko wants a mic. We can lay all the dialogue over it, like in true movie times.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not going to get very much. See, maybe for the show, I mean, you could just say George was sick.
No, I mean, if he leaves, he leaves.
But what's the consensus? Do you want to go on with the show and the work?
Yeah, yes. If he doesn't come back by Tuesday, we get clapped.
What? What?
John!
John! Anything you say, dear.
John! 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 Yes! John?
Yoko?
John?
Yoko!
John?
Yoko!
John?
Stop that.
John?
We could get Ike and Tina Turner over.
Instead of George.
John! John!
I'm afraid he's not in.
John! John! John!
He's busy!
It's a good thing we've all four of you just got together. Nobody
Did you go last night?
That's all right when we're all sitting
Neil,
around
this is,
there.
something I was talking to George about. That's what he was saying, too. What he means is just the board.
Yeah, it's just...
That's what he means. Yes. Nothing else.
Yeah, I'm for that, you know.
Yeah, so am I.
It's the only way you're going to...
That's why he said I don't believe it to John.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
a key moment, that wasn't it?
And he pretty meant it, and I think John knew what he was talking about too.
Oh, John. Sure he did.
That's why George said it twice. When John said, I don't understand you, George said, I don't believe you, again, because he thought he did understand.
That's great.
Of course he did.
You know, and it's like the bullshitting bit where like that can go on is silly. You know?
Yeah, see, but I think the thing is, like, with John does bullshit, I bullshit, Ringo bullshit, George bullshit.
And so, which probably this week or the latest next week. I'll call you this week anyway and let you know how it's going, and then we can make a date for this week and next week. Okay,
and so you start sort of giving him more credit than he's due for, you know. And like with Yoko, you know, I mean, they mean it.
I don't dig that.
Him and Yoko, you know, they
Go away!
You know, they do mean it. But
everybody cough.
Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You know what you mean.
But, you know, I tend to think that about them too. You know, like I was saying, you know, well, I'd rather write without Yoko, thank you. You know, just because that's the way I write.
Sure.
Well, that's the trouble, you see, because that's it. It's like with our heightened awareness, the answer is not to say anything, you know. But it isn't, because I mean we screw each other up totally when we don't do that, because we're not ready for your heightened vows of silence. We're really not ready. We don't know what the fuck each other's talking about when you know, we all just sort of get to. But oh yeah, right, yeah. But see, that's it. That's why John doesn't say anything, because he, you know, he just. There was something the other day, and he just said, so what do you think? And he just didn't say anything, you know. And I know exactly why, you know. I mean, I wouldn't if... There's, again, like always, only two answers. One is to fight it, and fight her, and try and get the Beatles back to 4 people without Yoko, and sort of ask Yoko to sit down at the board meetings. Or else the other meeting is the other thing is just to realise she's there, you know. And he's not going to sort of split with her just for our sakes. See, we've done a lot of Beatles now. We've had a lot of Beatles, you know, and we've got a lot out of Beatles. So that I think John's thing now, obviously it came to a push between Yoko and the Beatles. It's Yoko, you know.
Would stay.
Oh, sure.
But funny enough, the other day when we were talking, he said that he really did not want not to be a Beatle. He said he really looked forward not to, in other words, he didn't want that screwed up.
Mm. See, but their point is that they're trying to like be as near together as they can.
For their own truth and everything.
Yeah, for everything. Like, so that if she sits over here, it's just slightly less good than if she's sitting that near, very near to him. And if she's touching him, then that's even better, you know. And it's like that. So that, okay, she's prepared to sit here. Then there's the beginning of the rot then. Then she'll stay at home the next day while he comes. You know, and they see it like that, you know. They see it that the more they can stay together. And it's right in a way, I mean, if that's how you see it, then you can see that it'd be a drag for people to start saying, well, look, come to the meeting without her, you know, we're going to talk without her, because then it starts separating you again from her. Which is like, it's very ideological. Which is, you know, probably how it should
I'm all
be.
for that. I mean, if that's what they want to do. It's just that if it screws everything else up for everybody else, then they got to think about it.
Well, I don't know, you know. See, they'd say that the other way that
you have to adjust
the other way
them.
is true, yeah. That you know, if we do what we want to do, it might screw it up for them, you know, and they don't want to be screwed up.
Mal's trying to ring me.
Yeah.
Who's permanently engaged?
Permanently engaged.
Send a telegram.
Kelly's on pins and needles wondering what's happening.
Maybe if she stayed in the black bag, that would count.
This is roll 130, slate 229 continued.
But not talking. Putting the lid on the parrot's cage. Not talking.
And then there were two.
Yes, I think a lot of people got the impression that whenever John talks these days. It's like as though Yoko's talking to him.
Yeah.
Or he shuts up and lets her do it for him, and if that becomes a thing,
Sure.
Not ever like talking to him like I'm talking to you now. Well, you know I'm talking to Paul and I'm not talking to Linda.
Right.
You know, but when you're talking to John, you always, these days anyway, tend to think that you're talking to Yoko more than you're talking to John. And
That's why I say writing a song with him. It's a bit embarrassing because I do think it's sort of...
What?
I start examining my motives with Yoko there.
Is that a chicken joke?
Well, it's probably silly, you know. It's probably silly because, like...
You should get some peas out at your house.
What we're also thinking she is, you know.
She just wouldn't say as much for a while.
Oh, that, of course that'd be great. And, you know, they're onto that thing. They just want to be near each other, you know. So I just think it's just silly of me or anyone to try and say to him, no, you can't. You know, it's his decision. That it's none of our business to interfere in that. Even when it comes into our business, still can't really say much, except, look, I don't like it, John. You know, then he can say, well, screw you, or I like it, or well, I won't do it so much, or blah, blah, blah. But like, that's the only way, you know, to tell John about it.
Have you done that already?
Well, I told him I didn't like writing songs.
Were you writing together much more before she came around?
Oh, yeah,
Or
sure.
you cooled it a bit then? Before her?
Before you
cooled it, sure. Yeah. We'd cooled it because not playing together. Ever since we didn't play together.
On stage, you mean?
Yes, we went because I mean we lived together when we played together. We were in the same hotel, up at the same time every morning, doing this all day. And this, I mean, this, you know, it doesn't matter what you do like this, as long as you're this close all day, something grows, you know, something gets. And then when you're not this close all day, just physically, something goes.
Right.
So then you can come together to record and stuff, but you still sort of lose the. Actually, musically, you know, we can play better than we've ever been able to play. You know, I really think that. I think like we're all right on that. It's just that being together thing.
But do you think if you put any pressure on him, that he'd go your way a bit more?
Who's this?
Onto John.
I don't know. But I'm not, you know, I can't bother doing all that. Do you want to try and ring John? Try and.
Because the thing is, the four of you. The four of them just talking about it.
Did you not talk about it much last night?
Well, there were just too many
people.
229, camera A.
John didn't talk. You see, Yoga talked for John.
So where's George?
So easy, you know that.
But it's not that easy. It's because it's a festering wound that we've allowed to. And yesterday we allowed it to go even deeper, but we didn't give him any. I'm just trying to ask him, do I want it back? Or I'm just asking, do I want it back? Whatever it is, enough. Then if it is enough, I've had to stop the ego for you, I've had to stop the jealousy for you, to carry on for whatever reasons there is. If you can see what you've been doing, and what everybody's been doing, and not only felt guilty about it, the way we all feel guilty about our relationship to each other, I'm not putting any blame on you, and suddenly you realise that because that was my game, you know, it might have been masochistic, if my goal was still the same, self-preservation, you know, and I knew our life had it. But I think I felt, whatever it is, because you've suddenly got it all, you see. I know that because of the way I am, like when we were at Mendip, I said, do you like me, or whatever it is, I've always played that one. So,
I've been watching.
Sure.
I've been watching the picture.
But this year, suddenly, it's all happened here.
See, I'm just assuming he's coming back. I'm just assuming he's coming back. If he isn't, then it's a new problem to face. It's like the four of us.
It's like we said, we know we need decide we want it as a policy, I can go along with that because the policy has kept us together.
Well, the thing is that
but if we want him because we want him,
you've always been Fox. I've been to the secondary box. George has been the third box. You've never. Yeah,
but he has.
Just no, listen. You're the rabbit, right?
But not always.
Listen, no, always.
But
I do think the supreme of it all is that he's right. And I do think that our great sort of cunning is all nothing.
Yes.
Because the moments of clarity about this being just so innocent, so simple, that all my conniving, all my
don't you realise, because I've been aware of my conniving since 14, really aware of it, and before that, you realise that I've known I've been conniving from Dugdale, you know. You try and make George play competently because you're afraid that how he'll play won't be like you want him to play. And that's what we do, and that's what you do to me.
Yeah.
And I got to a bit where I thought, it's no good me telling them how to do it. You know, but I'm too frightened to say this is it, but I'll just sit there and say, if you don't come along and play a bit, I won't do the song, you know, I can't do any better than that. Because apart from not knowing, I can't tell you better than you what you can play on it.
Well, I'll come down in a minute and ask you.
There's anything wrong with it, because I don't want your arrangement. I only want your, if you give me your own suggestions, let me reject them, and things you want to like, this is when we're writing a song. Same goes for the arrangement. I don't want it to, I don't know.
No, I know, I do that. I know it is, yeah.
I want
it can't be A plus B equals X plus Y because that's them.
It's so simple, that's what's evading me.
Yes, well, exactly.
I just, because I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Because any time...
No, you're not sure because you're not sure whether to go left or right on an issue. You've noticed the two ways open to you. You know the way you are. You know the way you are, which is positive. Now, okay, so your positive thing might actually be to kick that telephone box in. It might occasionally be to do that. So you know that's the way you've got to go. But I think the answer is that while you've got us all looking at nothing over there, and you've thrown us for a minute, we would actually all have dug to see you kick that telephone box in. Because we want to see you do it. We actually want to watch the Steve McQueen film where he kicks the telephone box in. And we all want to see that. And I really think that
must be our own fault that we built it up that I can't kick the telephone box. Apart from it being my fault. The feeling that like Ringo said about his album, that what we, you know, do it because I've been put down or the fool.
Yeah.
You know, we've each done that to you.
Now I know when I'm saying it to you all, this is how this song goes. You know, then I know if I half tell you how it goes, that maybe two of you will like it. You know, a certain amount of you will like it, a certain amount of you won't. Because, but I know, you know, and this is where it gets heavy, is because you've got to blame yourself for that. Because I know I half sang it. And I know that if I say I'm kissed, at the end of the evening, and I get on a piano because I just really want to get on a piano, and I'm singing because I don't particularly want to show off to everyone. I want to really sing this song now. Say for what I want to say, and so I'll do it, and everyone in that room will dig it because it's me really doing it. And I know everyone will dig it. When I'm really doing it, everyone will listen, and everyone will dig, and no one will go against it.
I prefer non-violence, you know.
Now, how is your joint work going to further the revolution?
That, both of us are actually very positively, you know, doing things to change the world and all that, you know, and for the better. And the things that we're doing together, all my films, anything, you know, they're all just sort of gradually changing the world, I think.
Well, John, what about, do you feel then that everything you're doing, and Yoko too, really, as far as art is concerned, whether it's with the Beatles or with Yoko, that it's merely just a lever to further the revolution?
Well, it's that as well. Yeah.
In other words, we don't believe artists for art's sake. In other words, we believe that artists...
means to an end.
Well, no, I mean, artists are part of the society and definitely has to take, responsibility as a member of the society, and not just making things to decorate the gallery or anything. I'm interested in John's work and my work, or the work that we do together, but not so much Beatles, because, well, that's something else, The conversation tends to be all about Beatles all the time, I'm such an involved person, so that I don't really realize that usually. But suddenly, sometimes I realize, it's just all Beatle talk.
John, does it bother you at all that your songs are taken on so many different levels as far as interpretations are concerned?
No, because they are on all those levels, Excuse me, I feel a bit sick.
Right.
They work on all levels, and then sometimes you don't realise what you've written till after you've recorded it, or even a year later, I hear old records of ours and see things on different levels suddenly, or I'll sing a song to Paul and he'll see it on a level that I haven't seen at all, and that'll be the subtlest level you could see it on. And even though I've written it, and somewhere in my soul knows whatever makes you write it like that, is aware of what it said, you're not always aware at the time of doing it.
Well, guys.
Bye-bye.
Too much, Pete.
Bye.
Way out.
Way out.
Exit.
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's that way?
Just don't leave the needles lying around, We've got a bad reputation now with John getting busted and that. I know what it's like for showbiz people. They're under a great strain and they need a little relaxation.
Yes,
and that's why
he's going to bed.
It's a choice between that and exercise, and drugs win hand down. I say hand down.
Well, shooting is exercise.
Shooting is exercise, oh yeah. Missed me this morning, I did it for CBS. Just left off in the middle of the interview. Actually, I'm just recovering from the day,
From the night?
No reason at all, except that I'm mistreating my body.
Yes, I just was up late, I was sort of stoned and high and watching films, and I wouldn't have made it anyway.
See, what you need is a serious program of work. An endeavour. Not an aimless rambling amongst the canyons of your mind.
We all together, boy.
To wander aimlessly is very unswinging. Unhip.
Well, when I touch you, I feel happy inside. I can't hide. Ask me why, I'll say I love you.
What you need is a schedule. Achieve something every day.
It's terrible.
It's hard to live up to.
Place you go, yes, you can penetrate any place you go.
another Lennon McCartney original entitled All I Want Is You.
I'll run it too. I'll run of it. I'll run of it.
I'll run of it if you'll run of it. We're both the run of it together.
Every time I want to say along, decided on it, put me down with a cupcake, baby, chocolate, yeah, yeah.
Camera B, 308, take one on camera B. The boys are ready for action. The boys is ready. Don't interrupt. Hey, stars when they're recording. Hey. We're bloody stars, you know. Fuck face.
We'll have to do it sitting down, or we get too excited.
I think this one's better. Mind you.
Do you? It just felt better this one.
This 309 camera A, 309 camera A.
That's why I'm so excited.
Well, I'm going home now. Knocking off.
All right, right.
Put this on.
Okay,
I'm coming in tomorrow.
Still doing instrumentals. You know, for the album, like.
Oh, you look like a Victorian miner now.
Aye.
A Dej Lawrence.
Aye, well, I can't afford to mess around here, you know.
Mess me up, baby, my red hot thigh. I'm a golden god.
You in the PTA, your heart and bizarre. What good God? Back home, run away home, run away home. We're going home on the road to Marrakesh. I was dreaming more or less, and the dream I had was you, and the dream I had was you.
You get my meaning.
Paul?
Yes.
Hey, did you dream about me last night? Very strong dream. We both dreamt about it. Hey, is it different dreams, you know? But I thought you must have been there. It's like a 3 hours touching it. Very sexy.
Oh, we know it's nothing to worry about.
There's nothing to worry about.
Come on and get it! It's free! I love it! Can't do without it! You can get it! I can hardly keep my hands sticking.
film last night. What? Of us at the Mauritius. I've got all the film of it. It's incredible, you know, just so it seals what we're doing. It's unbelievable.
What were you doing? Yes, what were we doing?
I don't really know, you know, but it's like we totally sort of put our own personalities under. We weren't sort of really very truthful there. You know, I mean, we could have, I mean, you know, it's things like sneaking behind his back and sort of saying it's a bit like school, isn't it? We're all
Who was writing all them songs?
Oh, that was probably when we did. Yeah, right. Yeah, the number, yeah.
I wouldn't mind having...
Wouldn't mind having his money.
I wouldn't mind having 2 months out of every 4 months in a place like that.
It's that thing, you know, we probably should have sort of...
Being ourselves.
Yeah, a lot more, yeah.
That is the biggest joke. The biggest joke, to be yourselves. Because that was the purpose of going there, to try and find who yourself it really is.
Yes, well, we found that, didn't we?
And if you were really yourself, you wouldn't be any of who we are now.
Whoever found this way before.
Now, what about the roof tomorrow? Do you want to collectively do
No, well,
it or not?
let's decide on that sort of a bit later. Let's us keep off that. You know, whatever. I'll do it if we've got to go on the roof.
You're the band,
You know,
we're the crew, and never the time.
I don't want to go. No, I know, of course. I know. I want to go on the roof.
I would like to go on the roof.
You would like to?
So I'd like to go on the
Very diverse people. One second.
But I mean, if
any time is paradise when I'm with you.
Any time.
Yeah.
Any time at all.
You can imitate everyone you know. Yes, you can imitate everyone you know. I told you so. All I want is you. Everything has got to be just like you want it to.
No, that's good, that one.
Okay, ticket.
I love that one.
Thank you.
I really do.
I enjoy it too, sometimes.
Everybody had a hard year. Everybody had a good time. Oh yeah. Everybody had a wet dream. Oh yeah. Everybody saw the sunshine. I've got a feeling that keeps me on the toes. On your what? Oh yeah.
Slate 408 on camera A.
Ooh, she does. Yes, she does. And if somebody loved me like she does, ooh, she does. Yes, she does.
Have to get back. We're on our way home.
Yeah.
So there's a story, and there's another one. Don't let me down. Oh, darling, I'll never let you down.
Yeah, like
never
you
do
and
you
me,
know.
lovers.
And from the first time that she really done me, ooh, she done me. She done me good. I guess nobody ever really done me like she done me. She done me good.
Again, like always, only 2 answers. One is to fight it. Fight her.
Don't let me down.
Slate 285, camera A.
Don't let me down. I'm in love for the first time. Don't you know it's gonna last?
we can't get over it now. Unless we really sort of, like, go to the Albert Hall and get in a backpack. There's no other way. We can't think ourselves out.
4, 2, 3.
You down.
You're on.
Don't let me down, babe.
Damn it. Okay, should we do this? Jasper. Okay.
Was that last to be okay?
Yes, right, you're right there about another verse.
Oh, he's right, yeah.
He is right.
Let the apple if you don't shut up.
Okay, let it be is where I come in.
Achieve something every day. It may in theory sound silly, but
in practice,
it's even silly. But in practice, it's all there is.
this is where it's at.
This is where it's at, unless that is where it's at.
This is where it's at now.
Teamwork. A good defence.
You play ball with me, and I'll play ball with you.
Could be learning something instead of this, you know. So I'll see you again.
Well, I think I'll go home.
All right, I'll send him up tomorrow then, Paul. Ta-ra.
Paul?
When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. Ask me why, I'll say I love you. I love you too. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to work here, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, here I like, it's like home. But
how's it going to end? Is it going to end happily or just not sure yet?
Take 10.
Good night, Paul.
Say good night, John.
Good night, Paul.
Good night.
Good night, Dick.
Good night, Dick. That was Lennon McCartney.
have a kid. Paul, what's it feel like to be married at last?
It feels fine, thank you.
Ring is to many people in the contemporary world is a laugh maybe, but I sort of broke down. I felt so good about it.
The Beatles, to me, now seem to be more businessmen than performers.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you see, when we started off as Beatles, we knew nothing about the business side of it. And one thing that does happen in the business is that if you're the artist, you do get agents and people, who are on the business end of it. And sometimes you can get a bit carved up, So that we've become a bit more business-minded, but I still can't stand business, I'd much rather. The four of us really just a rock band, but we've got to actually sort of think now when we sign a contract, what does it mean,
You remain friends, or on the surface anyway, for a great length of time. Is there really this bond of friendship between you, would you say?
Yeah, sure, there is. Because we're each other's mates, and we've come through all of this together. We've been together now for 40 years. So, you can't help but be friends. Anyway, they're my three best friends. They're good lads, I tell you.
Paul, what about the future of the Beatles? I happen to know that the organisers of the Isle of Wight Pop Festival are going to ask you if you will top the bill next year. Are you likely to go back on stage and perhaps do a show like that?
I don't know, you know. I don't think so. You know, I personally, if we were going to do anything, prefer to just go right back to a small club.
You would?
Just have 50 people in and sing to them, you know, and have a bit of a sing-song. I'd get more fun from that.
You would. And what about John?
See, I've just said I don't particularly like the idea of playing to those many people, but I'd hate to stop him doing it.
Yes.
I mean, he loves it. He did this Toronto thing and had a really great time. So I'd be the last person to say, well, you know, don't do it because you've got to just do it with the Beatles and stuff. I think it's a great idea anyway.
What do you feel is left for you to do? So what are the Beatles going to be doing when they're 40?
I don't know, you know, I've never known. I didn't know that when we were playing at the Cavern that we'd be on the Royal Variety performance. I mean, I just don't know what's going to happen. It'll be all right, though.
What do you do about decisions like that?
We have plenty of meetings. In fact, I've got one any second now, David.
Would you like to see the Beatles performing on stage live again?
I don't know. I wouldn't mind playing, you know. I like playing the guitar with people and singing a few songs and stuff. But I don't know as to going on clubs and things like that.
Yes. You can't split, can you?
No. Well, I think it's mental. It's a mental concept. But to physically or spiritually split is impossible. If you're listening, I'm the walrus too. All I'm doing, I'm acting out the part of Beatle George, and, you know, we're all acting out our own parts. And, you know, the world is a stage and the people are the players. Shakespeare said that. And he's right, you know.
What do you mean by peace? Just all its aspects. Peace of mind, peace in the street, peace in your own home, peace throughout the world. Really means no violence, or violence that's channeled and doesn't hurt. That's what I mean by peace. I think I can't define things, you know. Yeah. I'm not from that school of thought. I'm not educated to talk like that.
I talk in jingles.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in monosyllables. So I can't even say that. You know, and so peace means that to me. Don't hurt people.
How do the other Beatles feel about your peace campaign?
Well, I've never probed them about how they felt. I've left that to the press, you know, and they're individuals, so they react individually to what I'm doing. But I think
sure
Ringo's doing his bit in the films he makes, and I think
they
George and
certainly
Paul will do it to the
disagree
music.
with your
No.
directing
They
at
might
all.
disagree with the particular way I do that performance, if the performance is one kind of piece gimmick or campaign. But the message they don't disagree with.
Paul did a good job in holding us together for a few years while we were sort of undecided what to do, you know. And I found out what to do, and it didn't really have to be with the Beatles. It could have been if they want it. But it got that I couldn't wait for them to make up their mind about peace or whatever, about committing themselves. It's the same as the songs. So I've gone ahead. And with this song, we wrote it in the morning, recorded it and remixed it and got it out in a week here on the States, which is pretty fast moving. I want it to be like that, you know. I want to be able to put it out as it happens, you know. I write songs about what's happening to me that moment, and I want it to be out that moment, and I don't care what name goes on it, you know.
How much are you seeing at the moment of the other Beatles?
Well, George was on the session, for instance, Karma, so and Ringo's away, and Paul's, I don't know what he's doing here. At the moment, I haven't a clue.
When did you last see him?
Before Toronto. When was it? I'll see him this week, actually.
Yeah. Well, so
if you're listening, I'm coming round.
Well, you've obviously got a pretty responsible attitude towards the power that you have got. But does it worry you, or do you always feel that you know exactly what you want to do?
I don't worry about it, you know, because If I'm depressed, I don't have the ability to use or influence anybody, if I'm not in a good state of mind. And when I'm in a good state of mind, I use whatever power I have carefully.
What about live appearances? They're rarer and rarer, aren't they, really? What are your plans?
I don't know. I've done more live appearances in the last year than I did in the last 5.
Yeah, but what about the Beatles altogether as a group?
As soon as they're ready, we had half the Beatles on again at the Lyceum Ballroom. That was George and me, but we also had Delaney and Bonnie and millions of people. 17-piece band we had on. It was a great experience. It should be like that, If we were doing that and all the Beatles wanted to come, it'd be great. Then there'd be no great thing about, the Beatles are coming back on stage and like they expect sort of Buddha and Mohammed to come on and play. I keep saying that, but that's the fear the Beatles have, including me as a Beatle. Playing isn't the hang-up, it's going on as the Beatles that's the problem for us.
But is it completely out of the question?
No, it's not out of the question. It's just a big responsibility. There's such a mystique about the Beatles that they'll be expecting God to perform.
What would you like to see happen for the Beatles in the future, John?
I'd like them to see them get the money they've earned, which they haven't had yet. But our good friend Mr. Klein will see to that. And for them to be happy, to do whatever they want to do. Because whatever happens to the Beatles, so-called, we'll always be sort of friends, So all I want for the Beatles is their individual happiness.
Are you, in fact, going your own way with Yoko these days? Because that is the impression one has.
Well, each Beatle's doing his own thing at the moment, and it's like it could be a rebirth or a death, and we'll see what it is, but it'll probably be a rebirth, for all of us.
When do you, in fact, plan to record with the Beatles again?
At the moment, there is no plan whatsoever, and we have this film and album in the can, and until that's sorted out, there won't be any plans, And I plan to make an album with Yoko, with Phil Spector, in about 2 weeks, so that's my plan. I heard Paul was planning to do an LP too,
Yes. What does this in fact mean, John?
It means you get more space on the record,
So, do you think it's unlikely that you will be making another track with the Beatles, recording again with the Beatles?
I can't. See, you can't pin me down because I haven't got. It's completely open whether we do it or not.
His whole life is.
My life is like that. Whether I make another Plastic Ono album or Lennon album or anything is open. I don't like to prejudge it, and I've no idea if the Beatles will work together again or not. I never did have.
No.
It was always open. If somebody didn't feel like it, that's it. And maybe if one of us starts it off, the others will all come round and make an album. It's just like that at the moment.
It's the first time this situation has ever arisen, isn't it?
Well, let's say before Sgt. Pepper there was 9 months of nothing. So in between our albums now, there's a lot of stuff going on. That's all. There might be 9 months or a year before we decide that we're interested enough to produce that thing called the Beatles album. But there was 9 months before Sgt. Pepper, and it's only been since September since we worked together.
Do you care about me?
Yeah, I think Beatles is a good communication medium, and I wouldn't destroy it out of hand or dissolve it out of hand. So that's what I think about Beatles.
The main reason I asked you that, John, is because there have been so many rumours going around about you're not.
Well, I wrote all the Beatles about 20 postcards from Denmark to keep in touch with them. I didn't talk on them. I think I talked to George on the phone only about some businesses. But I was on holiday. I just sent them love, through postcards, and we communicate like that, when we're not actually physically together.
Why do you think rumours like this started?
Because there was a lot of tension around Alan Klein coming in days and all that, and an ATV thing. The Beatles were under a lot of pressure. And we had to be together all the time, fighting and arguing and listening to all these different business things.
And so we're taking a break from each other like we always did after a tour, ending up.
The business thing was like a heavy tour. In it we made Get Back and Abbey Road and a couple of singles, and under a great strain, of doing that business. And so now we're just taking a break from each other.
In 1964, I produced a book. And why should I not write a book? You know, the Beatles wanted me to do it. They want me to do these LPs. You know, I want George to produce and record any records he wants to. It doesn't interfere with Beatle time. I use my own time to do other things, you know, and so do they. You know. But the Beatles will remain. There's no doubt about that. I'm fed up with saying. They've been saying it since She Loves You. You know, we're together, and that's it. You know.
What sort of immediate plans are there, George, for anything new?
As far as the Beatles go, we've got the Let It Be album, which should be out in about 3 or 4 weeks.
And what's the Beatle film going to be about?
The Beatle film is just pure documentary of us slogging and working.
On Let It Be?
Yeah, on the album. But it was so nice in a way it was very informative. It's not really nice for me. I can't stand seeing it. But for other people who don't know what we're really about, who like to go in and see our warts, then it's very good. Then there's also, Ringo's just completed a great album. So he sings all these old songs with the sort of old arrangements. He doesn't do a sort of modern arrangement. Yeah. Then John's doing an album, a Plastic Ono album. I think he's going to do that with Phil Spector. And I think Paul's doing an album which is, I should imagine, like, if you remember Eddie Cochran did a couple of tracks, like Come On Everybody, where he played bass, drums, guitar and sang. So Paul's doing this sort of thing where he's going to play all the instruments himself, which is nice. So in a way, it's a great relief for us all to be able to work separately at the same time. And so maybe if I get a chance, I'd like to do an album as well, just to get rid of a lot of songs. So maybe I'll
just
do
a George album.
A George album. And so I'll try and get that together sometime during this summer. And I expect by that time we should be ready to do a new Beatle album.
I'd certainly, don't want to see the end of the Beatles. And I know I'll do anything, whatever Paul, John, Ringo would like to do, I'll do it. As long as we can all be free to be individuals at the same time.
What he thinks of John Lennon's activities.
I think he's very brave and very strong. And he's doing a good job,
Do you approve of everything he does? Yes.
He could jump off the Eiffel Tower and I'd approve it. Because he feels strongly for everything he does, usually.
No, one has the impression that the Beatles are all doing their own things and that you're all...
They are doing their own things, yes.
But would you say that the Beatles are just as united as they have been or not?
I think behind each other, personally, we're united as we ever were. But
on the face of it, it hasn't looked like it very much over the last few months.
No, but that's only because you read the papers, and you read all those musicals saying, is it a split, isn't it a split? Well, they've just got nothing else to write,
Because nobody wants to split. I mean, the general public don't want to split, and Beatle fans obviously don't want to split. I suppose that's really why they're always
and the Beatles
don't
want really either.
And what about, will we ever see the four of you in concert together again, or only on records, do you think?
Only on records up to now. At the moment, you see, what we're all doing is, like, I'm doing my album. I've just finished it. And everyone else is doing albums. And maybe when we get all them out the way,
woof. That's the mice again.
Yes, yeah. We'll make a few more records.
But not concerts, probably?
Not yet, no.
We'll never disappear.
ambition to continue what you're doing, or what do you plan to do?
Yeah. Well, as long as it lasts like this.
As long as the money keeps
as
going?
long as we keep enjoying it. Once we stop enjoying it and people stop enjoying it, then we're back in.